Hey everybody, this is David at Barnyard Bees. This is a video that I promised from last week, and what we're going to do, we're going to pick a colony that's in need of help before going into fall and winter that wouldn't survive at the size that it is now unless you would put it in a two-framer and then cross your fingers and hope, and that's possible. And we have taken a few through the two-framers through the winter, and sometimes they do make it here in North Georgia. But this here, being a 5-frame nuke, actually I've already pulled one frame out. And I'm just going to talk a little bit and tell you what you can do to give these bees the most help that you can do. What's the thing that you can what are the things that you can do to get it ready for winter and to build its population up. Now we'll look, and I'm going to show you about what the size is of this little bitty colony. It's not that big at all. Turn here towards the sun where we can see it a little bit. Okay, look, right there's a queen right off the bat. See her walking around? So it's got a queen, and I can see some eggs. So she's laying. Now, okay, here's one problem with queens, especially this time of year, why they slow down. One reason with this colony is population. Queen will only lay according to how much population she has. Now, let's say this is spring and you got tons of natural nectar coming in and pollen. Well, it's going to naturally build up faster. And the daylight, you got more daylight, and being spring, they will build up quicker and faster, and it has a lot of time to take it from a colony this small to a big colony. And so she will lay according to the bees that she have to help protect and cover the brood. Now, what'll happen if you just let it go like this, it'll build up a little bit bigger. But the population will still be pretty low. So you basically, if you look in here, you probably got a total of one solid full frame of bees. So it's that bad off. And this frame right here, you can see they're just starting to work. They're trying to draw that out a little bit. So, okay, here's one thing that you can do. Now you got to have other hives to do this. And if you don't have other hives, I'll tell you some other things that you can do, the most that you can do. But the best thing you can do, if it was me, and I had this colony right here, and I had some other colonies, I would go into another colony and find a frame of capped brood. You all know what capped brood is. It's bees that are just getting ready to hatch. And shake those bees off and drop it right dead center in the middle of these two frames here, of the two biggest frames that exist. Now, depending where you're at, remember the bees you got to have enough bees to cover the brood, but being that it's capped brood, and being that it's still hot here in North Georgia, today's September 10th, I think, so it's still, right now, it's hot out. It's at least 80, 85. It's pretty warm out. Nighttime temperatures might get down to 70 some, so it's not going to hurt the brood. But let's say if there's a condition where you just can't, it's too cold and your brood is in danger of dying, you don't have enough bees to cover it. The only other thing that you can do at that time is go into another colony and pull a frame of bees and brood. Catch your queen, put it in a cage. Drop in that frame in between, just like that, just like we did here. I would close the entrance off with some hardware cloth for a good day, at least a day, maybe 2 days if it's not too hot. But now we're talking about where it's cold, so you should be fine. And by 2 days, those bees, by the time you open it up, you may have a handful go back, but not likely. The majority of them will stay. And then by that time, if you have your queen in a cage that can be released, they'll release her. If not, release her. This is just to protect her because you're putting brand new bees in there. Now, a lot of those bees will be nurse bees, because you'll notice a lot of them will have like a white dusty color to them, being that they're on a frame of capped brood. So they will probably be okay, but it's kind of late in the year to be taking chances like that, because you lose your queen, then you're gonna have to order one, and that's another thing. This time of year, everybody is about out of queens, but Barnyard Bees still has queens. So if you need them and you want to do some splits, go ahead and call. I don't know how much longer we'll have them. It won't be long, because once we start losing the drones, and it gets harder and harder to get returning queens mated back. And then we'd like to make a handful of splits, so we're saving like the last few queens for our own use to do splits in, and that's what like here in about another week we'll be doing, or 2 weeks. But we should have them for the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully. But it's no guarantee, so if you want them, you better hurry up and get them now. But anyway, having said that, that's one way that you can build that colony up. And then you can wait a week, and then by then you should have enough population in there to go grab another frame of bees, shake them off, drop it in there. You should have plenty enough in there to take care of that frame of brood. So now you got 2 frames in there that have built up, and meanwhile she's laying. Now, what will happen as this population's increasing, she's going to increase her production. She sees bees are hatching, they're covering the brood, she will start laying more and more eggs. Now, meanwhile, while you're doing that, make sure you got a hive top feeder. Now, we're over robin season. We're into nectar flow of goldenrod. And speaking of which, folks, keep reporting in. How's the goldenrod in your area doing? Let's keep that information flowing to the other beekeepers. Please comment below. Now, you take your rapid feeder, mix 1-to-1 sugar, keep it in there, do not stop feeding. Feed, 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 feed. Now, being that this is a weak colony and we do open feed pollen, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and keep you a small pollen patty in there that they will have available rain or shine, day and night. Now, I'm usually not a believer in pollen patties, but certain circumstances like that, it's better. Now, another thing that you need to do, make sure you're mite-free, or, well, there's really no such thing as mite-free, but treated to where you have very little mites, let's put it that way, because the bees are constantly going to be bringing in mites. Now, if you have a weak colony and they're fighting against mites and they're fighting against hive beetles, that colony is going to build up very, very slow. It's going to take a lot of their energy away from them. They're going to have to pay more attention to hive beetles, trying to corral them up and keep them out of the wax. They'll get sick and diseases from the mites. Give them every possibility, chance that you can give them by keeping them mite free. Keep the hive beetles out. Don't forget about the beetle barns. You can bait them up with your favorite beetle killers, whatever it is you use, and all this will help you. And whether you treat with mite strips or oxalic acid, get them treated. Keep this as healthy as possible. Do everything that you can to help that little tiny hive grow. You do all those steps, you'll have that thing built up and packed out pretty good come when the queen really, really slows down. Now, remember, the queen will slow down according to the nectar flow and according to the shortage of the days and the temperature. So it's a race. So get on that and hurry and do everything you can to save these little colonies. But that's what I do. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do, is do those steps, ensure that they're healthy and strong. Add more bees to them, like I said, the way I described it, and you should be good to go. That population should build up quick, and that thing should be packed out come wintertime. And that's about it. That's all I can think of to help you on the colony, the small colony. Do those steps and they'll work. And don't forget, folks, the queens. We have got the queens for at least 2 or 3 more weeks, not sure. Beekeeping supplies, packages for 2021. Nukes, call barnyardbees.com or call the store. And don't forget, folks, please help share our videos, like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Barnyard Bees.